nation. Hebrew kingdom building.
Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. I think that's the best way to put all this together. Bereshit chapter 2. All right. Let's start with verse 8. Verse 8, Genesis 2. Yep. Y'all ready? Okay. Yahuwah Eluah planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuwah Eluah made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and thub for food. The tree of life, Chai, was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of thub and Ra. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads. Now, we know that the Garden of Eden is likened to the tabernacle. We know that the Garden of Eden is likened to the ark. We know that the tabernacle is likened to the ark. The Most High showed several signs on that. The raven, the dove, and several other things as well. They're all the same. They're all similar. They're all the same. They're all related to each other. The ark, the tabernacle, and the Garden of Eden. That makes sense? Y'all following? The ark, the tabernacle, and the Garden of Eden. And so Adam was over the Garden of Eden. Who was over the ark? Noah. Both of their jobs was to tend and keep a specific thing, is the worker thing, right? You saw that in the garden, it was all about, well, we're going to get there, but you're going to see that Adam, his job was about being was associated with him and the animals, right? Noah's ark, it was the same thing. The Most High sent all the animals to Noah, 2 by 2, 7 by 7s are the clean animals. I submit it's a very similar thing happened with Adam in the Garden of Eden. The garden was just a specific region that the Most High set apart for Adam. So how was he going to name all the animals? Yahuwah sent them to him, y'all. Probably sent them to a 2 by 2. Yahuwah didn't have to send them all the animals, right? Just 2 by 2. 2 by 2. You saw 2 by 2 in the creation week, right? He said everything he created, male and female. That's Noah's ark. It's the see y'all got to see how this is related to each other. It's all related to each other. And so then you had a tabernacle. And what's going on with the tabernacle? It's full of animals. Full of animals. And then you have another Adam that's over the tabernacle. It's Moshe. Oh, you could argue Aharon because they were the ones who had to tend and keep it. Maybe Aharon, who was also in the ark. Yeah, he was in the ark, right? The ark of bulrushes. That's a through point. The tabernacle was a set-apart enclosure for the Kodashim. The Garden of Eden was a set-apart enclosure for the Kodashim. And Noah's Ark was a set-apart enclosure for the Kodashim. The garden was for Adam and Eve to be fruitful and to multiply and to start all over with him. Noah's Ark was the same thing. The Most High was going to do that with Moshe. But Moshe had interceded. It was like, no, please don't do that. All right. Verse 10, y'all ready? Now a river went out of Eden to the water of the garden. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is Thub. Bdellium and the onyx stones are there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Syria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Then Yahuwah Eluah took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to what? Tend and keep him. He put him there for a work. He put him there for a job. Verse 16, and Yahuwah Eluah commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat. But of the tree of the knowledge of Thub and Ra you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Even in Noah's Ark, he had 7 of every clean animal and 2 of every unclean animal. That's basically a rule surrounding what to eat and what not to eat. Because you couldn't eat none of the unclean animals, then that whole bloodline would be done. The whole bloodline would be done. Verse 18, the Yahuwah said, it is not through that man should be alone. I will make him a Ezer, comparable to him. Out of the ground, Yahuwah formed every beast of the field. Now you see the beast of the field here. Every beast of the field and every bird of the air, but that's really the word, chai. So really, Yahuwah formed every life of the field is really what it's saying. Every life of the field and every bird of the air. And brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatever, so he brought them to Adam. There we go. And whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. So Adam gave names to all cattle, to the birds of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper comparable to him. And Yahuwah caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh. So there was a cutting that took place. And there was a sacrifice that happened. One of his ribs were taken. So, do y'all know that's what happens to the sacrifices? Did y'all think about that? On the bird, wasn't it commanded for the priest to split the bird? Don't cut it all the way apart, but split it between its wings. But don't split it in half. That's a cutting that took place. Wasn't it commanded for a whole burnt offering that they had to take the entrails out and separate the pieces and put them on the altar? In order to do that, for most clean animals, you actually gotta take the ribs off. The ribs protect that stuff. So you see here, there was a sacrifice happening here. You get what I'm saying? There was a cutting that was happening. Verse 22, then the rib which Yahuwah had taken from man, he made into a woman. So it's really that he taken from Adam, he made into Isha. And he brought her to the man. He brought her to Adam. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called Isha. So this is when Isha was first mentioned in the scriptures. This is the first time Isha was mentioned in the scriptures. She shall be called Isha because she was taken out of Ish. My apologies. This is the first time that Ish is mentioned in the scriptures. Amen. So you notice that Ish is not even used. It was always Adam for the man. The term Ish wasn't used in Torah until the Isha was created. The term Ish wasn't used until Isha was created by Yahuwah. So I submit to you that a Ish is not really a Ish without a Isha. Which makes sense, don't it? How you gonna be a husband without a? Yeah. So the term Ish is made to be joined with Isha. Y'all will get what I'm sharing in a minute. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his Isha, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. All right. So this is the word Ish. This is the word Ish. It is Aleph, Yod, Shin. It basically means the strong leader who works and makes distinctions. Or the strong leader who works and separates. Or the best way to put it is the strong leader who works by cutting. The strong leader who works by cutting, or the strong leader who works by separating. You gotta be, man. You man, look, to be a Ish, man. Like Jungle, y'all said y'all wanted to be a Ish one day. A lot of y'all said y'all want to be a husband one day. You got to be willing to work, and you got to be willing to cut. Here go the word Isha. It's Aleph Sheen Hey. The word Isha is the strong leader who separates based on the revelation of the Ish. It's the strong leader who separates based on the revelation of the Ish. Or a strong leader who cuts based on the revelation of the Ish. Oh, you want me to keep it there? I heard a noise. Somebody grunted when I changed. All right. For Isha, it's the strong leader who separates based on the revelation of the Ish, or the strong leader who cuts based on the revelation of the Ish, revelation of the bridegroom. It's based on the revelation. And Ish is the strong leader who works by cutting, or the strong leader who works by making a distinction and makes distinction. The strong leader who works and separates. Strong leader who works and makes distinctions. Think about it, y'all. Adam, what was he doing? He was working in the garden, attending to keep it, and he was naming all the animals. What is that? What was he doing? He was making distinctions. He was separating. He was separating. Okay, this is a bird. This is, oh no, this is a cattle. This is that. He was separating. He was making distinctions. He was giving them names. He was calling them by names. The scripture said whatever he named them, that was the name. Yahuwah confirmed he had an authority to where, see, the Ish, this is the function of the Ish, has the authority to be able to make distinctions, to be able to separate, to be able to cut, to make cuttings. I didn't even realize this breakdown, and I talked to y'all about this for a long time about how in order to be a Ish, you got to be willing to sacrifice. There's no way it's going to work. Yeah. There's no way you're going to be able to work having a bride if you don't sacrifice for it. There's no way that it's just the way the order the Most High set it up. But the whole word surrounding Isha submit is surrounding sacrificing. It's the strong leader who works by cutting. See, Aaron the high priest is in the similitude of Yahusha the bridegroom. So that makes sense. Oh, snap, why only the priest, Aaron or the sons of Aaron, can be the ones who do the cutting and do the offering of the sacrifices. Do y'all know what else the high priest do, or the priest, the high priest or the priest? Do y'all know that they do the separating too? Remember what the Torah said that they had to do with the offering? They had to take it and they had to separate it they had to separate the entrails from the legs, the head, and they had to and put it in order. That's the work of an Ish. They're moving in the function of a bridegroom, putting things in order, putting things in place, separating and cutting, making distinctions, and presenting it before the Most High. The whole dynamic between Ish and Isha surrounds around sacrifice. That's why Yahuwah, the ultimate bridegroom, said, I'm going to dwell with y'all, make this tabernacle, but this is in order for me to really be able to dwell with y'all, for this to work, y'all going to have to do these things. And it's surrounded around doing sacrifices all throughout the day, every day. Because that's how a marriage works. We're the bride of Yahusha. So Yahusha first made the sacrifice for us, right? He sacrificed himself. Now the marriage happened. Now we're joined. We're in covenant. Now it's time for you to, as the bride, to make sacrifices. So what happens is the bridegroom give sacrifice, and he's willing to offer himself for his Isha. You know, Ephesians, right? Love your wife like Hamashiach loves the assembly, and gave himself for her. And so, as Kodesh husbands, we, love our wives, and are willing to give ourselves for Isha and things like that. We gave up. A lot of us, we get married as men, and you give up everything, right? You're supposed to give up something. You get married, going to the bar, with the homeboys and stuff. That kind of that fizzles out, don't it? After you get married. I'm going to the bar, man. We finna watch the game. All that stuff. You try to do a couple of times right after when you first got married, and then you start seeing it just don't be worth it. It don't be the same. You go a couple of times and you kind of start fading out. They be calling you. You always got an excuse, and then finally they stop calling after a while. You just kind of fade out. Cause you go with them, they heads turn. Oh, did you see that girl over there? Man, hold up, you see her? You just like, oh yeah, ha ha ha. And you don't want to be rude to them, but then you still trying to get along with them. And then you realize, this ain't gonna work, man. It ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. And so now you give up your homeboys, because then they start coming at you. Yeah, ever since you, oh yeah, yeah, let me guess. You're not coming because your wife ain't gonna let you come, huh? Oh yeah, that's what that is. Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You letting these females get in the middle of us. Used to go out of town to the events every year, go out of town to the beach parties and stuff like that when you were single. When you were in the world before the truth. Doing all that stuff, you get married, all that stuff, oh no. Hey man, come on man, spring break man was going down. Come on, let's go to Galveston, man. Beach party. Oh yeah, nah, I ain't gonna, nah man. Why do you think it says so a man must leave his mother and father and cleave? He's saying you're supposed to sacrifice for your bride. So let's get Kodesh and be more realistic thing. Cause we ain't worried about no beach party, nothing in the couple months of coach team anyway. But what about all that time you going to your mama house all the time? With your parents all the time, y'all be doing this, be doing that, go over there for Sunday dinner and all that stuff. Yo, Isha, now you married. And she want to cook that. There's a lot of things you got to give up if you want to be married, if you want to Isha. So in turn, what happens is when you sacrifice, then she starts to sacrifice. So now she's giving up a lot of things. You imparted into her, impartations, and now she's giving you back children. Oh, snap. Sacrifice a lot to do that. I can sacrifice a lot to have children. Now she's submitted to you in the role that Yahuwah has for you. And so actually, you know what, Isha, she's going to give up everything for that. For real. She's going to give up everything to line up with whatever purpose Yahuwah has for you. That's just how they are. A Kodesh wife, that's how they are wired. So anything she had going on before you got married, or maybe wanted to be a lawyer or something like that, or whatever, you saying you had this other thing, she going to line up with that and roll with that and do what she needs to do to line up with whatever Yahuwah has for your function. So now you got this marriage relationship to where it consists of constant sacrifices. That's the tabernacle. Constant sacrifices from both sides. From both sides. That's the tabernacle. You got Adonai Yahusha, the bridegroom, sacrifice for his people, man. Gave himself. And so now we're offering up offerings. Offerings of praise, offerings of worship. The list goes on and on. That makes sense? So, I submit that these two words have to be together because when you read Bereshit, the word Ish didn't even get introduced into the scriptures until Isha was created out of the rib. So there's no Ish without Isha, I submit. There's no Ish without Isha. They're supposed to be together. They're supposed to be together. So that's Ish, that's Isha. And when they're together, you have Yahuwah there. That's Yod Hey. Yod Hey. Yah, the name of the Most High. Because they're supposed to be together. Now, if you take Yah's name out of the Hebrew word for Ish and Isha, all you get is Ish, which means fire. Esh, it means fire. So if you're trying to have a marriage without Yahuwah in there, that's just fire and destruction. Both of them, Ish and Isha. This one right here. No problem. I need to go back another time? No. Okay. So, just to put things into perspective again, when the husband and wife being in their car, you have Yahuwah in there. Ish and Isha, when it's together, you have Yahuwah in there. So it doesn't work with just the Ish by itself. It doesn't work with Isha by itself. So you can't be no individuality type of dude as a Ish. You can't be no mine, no. Can't be no individualistic Babylonian-minded person to be a true Ish of the scriptures. You have to be in that car with the Isha. You have to be one. And this is the other aspect of it, though. It's the other aspect of it, though, Mishpaga. Now, without Yahuwah, you just get fire, destruction. But when Yahuwah's in there, you still get fire. It's in the name for Isha and Isha. But it's the fire of Yahuwah. Fire is in Ish and Isha. That's showing the power of the marriage, of a Kodesh marriage. How powerful the Kodesh marriage is. All right, this is what we just read, Vayikra 1, chapter 1, verse 6. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. What does the Ish do? What is the word for Ish? It's the strong leader who works by cutting. It's the strong leader who works by cutting. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. He is talking about the sons of Aaron. That's symbolic of Yahusha, the high priest, right? The bridegroom. It tells you right here, the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put Ish on the altar. The sons of Aaron shall put the Ish on the altar and lay the branch in order on the fire. Then the priest, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order on the branch that is on the Ish upon the altar. That's the work of a bridegroom. to cut, to separate. So the sheen is teeth. Has the one way to look at the sheen is like teeth. To cut, when you consume something, you use your teeth to cut and separate and to discern, don't you? You cut and separate and you chew things with your teeth so that what? You can consume it, you can swallow it, and your body will discern between the things to keep and the things to expel. The body will be able to actually separate and discern the things that are nutrients and the things that are waste. But when the Ish and the Isha are together, you get the fire of Yahuwah. It's a major, major, major weapon against the enemy. That's exactly why. So look at this, Luke 17. Just as it was in the days of Noah, so also will it be in the days of the Son of Man. People were eating, drinking, and being given in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark. Remember we talked about how the ark is the tabernacle too. But what happened when Noah entered the ark? Then the flood came and destroyed them all. Who did it destroy? The people that were married and given in marriage. Why were they destroyed? Well, they probably were getting together and didn't have Yahuwah in there. They probably was doing this. That's why they wasn't on the ark. They didn't have Yahuwah in their marriage. It might have been, they might have passed some special laws for special alternative marriages. And the Most High ain't in the marriage at all, and it becomes a fire. Think about it, y'all. Think about this. What about Sodom and Gomorrah? What about Sodom and Gomorrah? What happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Didn't Yahuwah rain down fire from the Shamayim on them? Isn't that the fire of Yahuwah? What were they doing? They were full of different types of marriages. They were full of different types of marriages going on off in there. They didn't have the Most High with at all. Matter of fact, let's go here. I think actually Yahusha brought them up too. I just didn't put it here. Go to Luke 17 real quick. Yeah, verse 28. Y'all there? I didn't put it up here, but Yahusha brought them up right afterwards. That's how you know they related to each other. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot. They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. And I submit they married and was given in marriage too. But on the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from the Shamayim and destroyed them all. Even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So y'all see how deep this is. Let's keep looking at this. Oh, this is verse 9. We read this earlier. Vayikra 1, verse 9. But he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water. And the priest shall burn all on the altar as a olah, sacrifice, an offering made by a sweet aroma to Yahuwah. Do y'all know that the word for an offering made by fire is actually Isha? So that's like 5 words. That's one word in Hebrew, Isha. Isha, an offering made by fire. In other words, an offering made by the Ish. Because really the word for fire is Ish. It's just without the yod, but it's Ish. So Ish is very closely related to fire. Very close. There's only one word, letter difference, I mean. So what is this proven? This is proven in the Hebrew. This is proven in the Hebrew that Ish and Isha in marriage is very closely related to the sacrifices and the sacrificial system and sacrificing. Because it's all in the words. Literally, the term an offering made by fire is Isha. It's spelled exactly the same. The only thing difference is vowel points. It's the same word as Isha. That's why the scripture says, he who finds a wife finds a true thing and has favor with Yahuwah. Man, that's why. Because that's an offering, man. That's a sacrifice. That's a sweet aroma to Alua. That's something you had to have done. You had to pass some tests. That's something for the Most High to give you one of his daughters. Now, I'm gonna say this. I've said this before, but I want to reiterate because it's been a while, and it's always important to do refreshers on specific things that are important. Because really, y'all just forget. People forget. But when the scripture says, "He who finds a wife finds a true thing, and has favor from Yahuwah," that is not referring to just any female that you want a wife. That's not referring to the stripper girl that you fell in love with when you were 18 and tried to marry her, and it lasted a year and y'all got a divorce because she was wicked. And you was wicked too back then. It's not referring to that. When it's talking about he who finds a wife finds a good thing, it's talking about his Yahuwah's daughters. He who finds, basically he who the Most High gives one of his daughters to, that's a sign that you have a favor from Yahuwah. It's a telltale sign. So an example, just to give so y'all remember Saul. There's something you did. There's something you did that was pleasing to the Most High, where he had favor for you to give you one of his daughters. King Saul. He was a warring king. He was going to war, I think it was against the Philistines, and he was like, basically anybody who can kill all these Philistines. It's more detailed, but I'm not going to get into the detail because it's pretty weird, but basically anybody who can kill all these Philistines and bring me, I'll give you my daughter. I'll give this person my daughter as a wife in marriage. So we know the story of King David went and this was suicide mission, but you know Melech Dawood, man, he rolled up and made it happen. You know. And so, you know, eventually, what happened? He had favor from the king, so the king gave him his daughter. It was a sacrifice. It was a cutting that had to happen, though, right? Dawood made a great sacrifice in order to get that wife. And the Most High gave him the king, I should say. The king is always somebody. The Most High is the king. You know what I'm saying? Gave him one of his daughters because he had favor for him, because of his works. It's something he did. You're not just going, let me tell y'all something, Jungle. Most High not going to give you one of his daughter's hand in marriage if all you do is chill and play video games all day. You ain't moving in no kind of righteousness. You ain't keeping no laws. You only keep laws when mom and dad watching. As soon as mom and dad turn their back, you doing something, doing everything under the sun, and talking about you want to get married. You ain't gonna get none of the Most High daughters. Nope. What you do is you move as a ish now. Do the work, cut, tend, keep, be faithful. Be faithful to Yahuwah. Have a relationship with him in prayer and supplication, and watch how he will be ready to give you one of his daughters at the appointed time. At the right time. That's how it works. It's associated with sacrifice. What did Jacob do? He said, hey, Laban, I really want her. I will work 7 years for her. Laban deceived him, gave him the oldest sister. And you know what he did? He didn't say, oh, man, you did the game. But, man, I'm going back. Man, I'm going home. You done deceived me. You done did the, man, I'm gone. I'll just take Leah. He said, okay. He worked another 7 years for the one he wanted and kept Leah and Rachel. The scripture said that 7 years was like a day to him or something. It said something like that. Because he loved her so much. And you got people talk about, man, I ain't trying to go through the process, man. It takes a whole, man, no, man. A year? Oh, no. That just means you're not ready for the Isha. You value what you work for. You value what you sacrifice. I remember when I was in when I was doing music, and we used to sell CDs. I used to be out there, man. I'll go to the club parking lot, be out there all night in the club parking lot just trying to sell CDs, going to car. Hey man, what's happening, man? Hey, put this in real quick. You know, dudes trying to leave. Nah, just play it real quick. Just play it, man. Man, you'll be all right. And then they'll play it, and I'll be like, oh man, all right, man. How much this is, man? Man. Y'all trying to take all my money, man. All right, man. All right. And we'll leave, man. One night like that, easy make a few $100s. And that was back in the day when a few $100s was a lot of money. I know they ain't a lot now, but you know, back then you make like $300-400, you was good, man. That was rent back then. You make like $400, that's rent back then. I know y'all don't understand that type of stuff now, but I remember there was a time when we were trying to we thought we could maybe just give out a bunch of CDs for free, and we thought that would really help. Nah. Because it's something about when it's free, they don't value it. Like, we would try to go to the club and just we would give out like hundreds of free CDs, man. They'll be out on the ground. Nobody even try to listen to it or nothing. It's just like, but when we do the work and actually selling them, make people spend their money, you be hearing them jamming it the whole night in the parking lot. Because they paid for it. It's a value to it now. And that's how it is with your Isha and Ish. That's how it is in marriage. You have to, the Most High knows how we think. You have to have made some sort of sacrifice for your Isha to value her properly. You're not going to value her properly if you don't sacrifice for her. You ain't paid nothing for her. And you is not going to get no daughter of Yahuwah without sacrificing for her. He ain't going to allow that. It ain't going to happen. Because you're not going to take one of his daughters and treat her as common, treat her as of no value. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. It makes more sense. I was talking to I think I was talking to the Leadership Council last night about this. It makes more sense to me why Levi and Simeon was like that about their sister. She was a daughter of the Most High, and it seemed like the dude was trying to be nice because he was like, well, I'll marry her, you know. You ain't paid nothing for this. You just went and did. No. You just took it. You ain't put in no work. You ain't. But then now after you took it, now you want to put in work. Oh, no. No. They cut down the whole city over that.
That's what they said. They said something about you trying to basically treat our sister like cheap, like a harlot. You trying to treat her like she don't got no value. That's what they were saying. Oh, no. Y'all got to get cut down for that. That fire came out, didn't it? It was a cutting, Ish. They moved like an Ish.
Rebirth of a nation. Hebrew kingdom building.